Welcome to another cast brought to you by Netrunners.co.uk. This is the third round of Swiss of the Chronos Tour Championship held at Stoke. For those of you who are familiar with my earlier casts of this tournament, you would have heard me mention that my camera tripod, or my phone tripod rather I should say, was actually propped up against a windowsill. Unfortunately, this has caused a problem in this cast. I'll give you no guesses as to what that is. First and foremost, the fact that it's completely lopsided, as well as the fact that the tripod itself is in frame. Thankfully not blocking anything significant, other than my bulging biceps, obviously. But as a result, there is a problem wherein, yes, that's going to get incredibly annoying, and I apologise for it. You'll be pleased to know it is only for this round of Swiss. I'm pretty sure I correct this egregious error in the next round. So myself on the left playing Chaos Theory, and Gary from Nottingham on the right playing Weyland, because we built it. So it's a... Was it Building a Better... No, Building Better World, sorry, I always get the two mixed up. So I've split both rounds now going into this third round of Swiss. I'm hoping for a little bit of a better performance here, though again, Gary is another very good player, established, as you can probably see from his acrylic counter if nothing else. He's going to double ice and take a credit, and hedge fund rather. I'm going to run R&D, see a data raven. At this point I'm going to bounce and not take the tag, though I do have a plascrete in hand, which is the main reason why I kept that. I'm going to run HQ and have a look-see, and see an Enigma, lose my third click. Again, just to remind you, this was before double time, or well, after double time, but double time was not legal for the event, so you won't be seeing any quandaries or NAPD contracts or caprice, anything of that ilk. Last click I'll sure gamble and pass the turn back over. He's just going to score out a hostile takeover for the agenda point, and for the lovely, lovely credited goodness, I'll take my bad pub. First click I'll draw, see a test run. I've got the account siphon in hand as well, so I can get aggressive here. There is definite room for aggression, and I do have the plascrete. Want to be cautious. Having seen the data raven, you're pretty much telegraphing the fact that this is tag and bag, and in all its glory. Having already played against one tag and bag deck today, is my first round of Swiss, which wasn't recorded. I'm a little bit cautious and wary. I was able to win that one as well. I play the magnum opus. I'm going to win the economy game. No seesaws for you, good sir. He will draw. He will play a green level clearance. Once more, spelling out it's an aggressive deck, more than anything else. But certainly giving him a lot of lovely money, and he's going to play a Beanstalk royalty, so plenty of cash there. Plenty of cash. But hey, I've got a bad pub and I've got a magnum opus on the board. I'm not unhappy either. Early doors magnum is what Chaos Theory wants. It's pretty much a solitary economy card beyond hedge fund. So I'll play out a same old thing, and I'm going to take 4 credits, pass the turn. And I'm happy just to wait it out a little bit here. As soon as he plays the remote down, I've got the test run there to bring out a Fem, and to go in and steal a sneaky agenda that he might be trying to score, i.e. an Atlas. Might be looking to double advance it, single advance it, whatever it may be, but I'm going to go in and nick it. Great remote pressure, this deck. Absolutely love it. You know, the Fem is such a strong card when you can test run. So he's going to ice, and he's going to double ice, screaming to me he's got agendas in hand ready to try and put into that remote server. And also limiting my use of the Fem there. So, you know, double icing a remote, always sensible, but it does leave HQ vulnerable somewhat. So I could go and test run here for a Code Gate Breaker. I've got 2. One is a Torch, and the other is a Zoo Gatekeeper. Again, I probably would change that. I never used Torch in this tournament, and I don't know if I ever will, but I'm going to play that test run. I'm almost certainly going to go and find the Zoo rather than the Torch. Although I guess it doesn't really matter. But to be honest, that was more a case of I wasn't intending to scavenge the Torch. I didn't have a scavenge in hand, I don't think. And so I wanted to be able to play that again later, even if it's slow. It's just 1 credit, so it's cheap to go through and break an Enigma, especially with a bad pub on the table. Not too shabby. I don't have a Yogg in the deck, obviously, otherwise I would play the Yogg instead. But it's very tough finding the influence for it. I don't have any data suckers, so not particularly what I need. So I will run and access. I'm not going to account siphon even though I have it in hand. See a successful demonstration, which I'm hoping he'll never be able to use. And I'm debating here whether to account siphon and then go for the last click Plascrete, preventing him from doing too much damage on that remote, or whether to go for another access, one of the 2 axes. I'm going to draw. I don't think that was the smartest play, but I am going to play a Plascrete, and that zoo will go back on top of the stack as soon as I remember, which I'm sure will be soon. Hopefully. Oh, crumbs. Yeah, there we go. Pointed out to me, in fact. Shame on me. He will install and advance twice, so probably an Atlas. Probably an Atlas. And kind of missed my chance there, I think. A little bit of going in and scoring that. I'm not sure why I didn't just run. Straight into his hand. I had 4 cards in hand. It wasn't a huge risk. But probably a little bit overcautious. Or was he worried about the punitive? Punitive is a problem. And he certainly had the money edge on me, but I'm only on 1 credit, plus a bad pub. I know my next draw is going to be the zoo. So I can go in and account siphon him here. I could even double account siphon him, potentially. No, sorry, I can't. I'd have the clicks for it. I'd have to draw, install, and account siphon. And probably draw again. But it would give him enough to be able to score out the agenda at the very least. He's on 7 credits. I account siphon here without playing the zoo. Whoops! Oh, that's a big error. Oh dear. I think my brain may have skipped ahead of me, and neither of us have noticed the fact that I don't actually have the code gate breaker out. Wow. Wow, that's just wrong on so many levels there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty sure my head skipped ahead about 5 steps there. I forgot to draw, install, and go again. And I've double account siphoned here without a code gate breaker. Oh dear, that is embarrassing. It happens, I guess. Sorry about that, Gary. Wow, I didn't even notice that until, yeah. Oh dear. So I've double account siphoned him, and without any means of doing it, I'm now going to run the remote. He's only got 1 credit, and he reses the ice wall, so at the very least he didn't lose an agenda out of this absolutely appalling and illegal play. Crumbs, I didn't even notice that. Otherwise I would have corrected it fairly swiftly and sharply. I think when I finally do drop the zoo, I think I probably had test run it the earlier. Anyway, regardless, he plays the close the counts and gets rid of all my money. So no real harm done, other than the fact that you know, it was entirely illegal, and I cannot believe I didn't notice that. My word, shame on me. I promise I wasn't trying to cheat there. Like I say, literally my brain just skipped ahead, and I just thought that I had test run the earlier turn. So the things you watch when you go back. Anyway, I'm sat on 4 tags. He has completely closed my accounts, and still has the agenda there installed. I have no means of going in to get it. And he sat on 4 credits. So it hasn't changed the game state a huge amount, but oh my word. Talk about illegal. Talk about illegal. Oh dear. I can't believe neither of us noticed it. That's unbelievable. Never mind. That is definitely the worst error I have ever made in a game of Netrunner. Obviously beyond running into a snare on the last click with 2 cards in hand, but actual illegal errors as such. So here I'm going to draw. I'm going to take 2 credits with Magnum Opus. It's hard to look at this game the same way now, knowing that has occurred. Still sat on the double advanced Atlas, which again I'm presuming is a double advanced Atlas. And I'm going to run R&D. I don't care about the data raven at this stage because I'm just going to go tag me. So whatever. I'm going to take 2 more credits. But just force him to take some time in securing R&D. He scores the 3-pointer, so it wasn't the Atlas, it was in fact a government contract, so taking him up to 4 points now. So it's 4 points to 0, and the pressure's on. I see an infiltration, not really what I need there. I'm going to draw... No, so I'm going to run R&D. I don't care about the tag. I'm going to score an Atlas. So what I thought was there before. And presumably going to go here again. And see nothing. And this is the problem with Data Raven. As soon as you go tag me, it becomes largely irrelevant. Probably more relevant in NBN, where you still have the threat of the psychographics, but in this instance, you're just not concerned about it particularly. I'm quite happy to take the tags now. I've got a plascreed out. I'm not going to drop below 4 cards, and I am happy to for that to occur. He's going to use those Data Raven tokens before he trashes it and installs something else in R&D. Not really having a lot of choice there. And I've got all the tags, and then he's going to take his government contracts money. Like a souped up Gillahans. So I've got the SMC there in hand. I'm still trying to pretend that that massively illegal play hasn't happened, and just carry on like this is just a normal cast. But we all know, ladies and gentlemen, that it's not. I'm going to play that same old thing out there, so I've got the option now of going into an account siphon. I'm going to play the zoo the right way round this time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to play the zoo. I'm going to then take 4. No, sorry, I'm not. I'm going to same old thing in account siphon, pay to get through, and account siphon him. Take another 2 tags. So that was the correct way. Oh dearie me. And hopefully I trash the same old thing here. Otherwise, I'm really am in trouble. At least I think I can't siphon him there. Don't tell me I don't trash the same old thing as well. Oh my word, I'm going to draw. I can't believe how much I've missed. This is unlike me. I'm not normally this bad. Oh, crumbs. I haven't trashed the same old thing either. I'm going to install the self-modifying code and pass the turn back over. Oh, I didn't notice. Oh dear. This is a catalogue of errors, this game. An absolute catalogue of errors. He's going to install the Jackson Howard there into a remote. Oh, I'm just embarrassed here. He's having a think about what he's going to do here now against my illegal plays. He's going to ice up our HQ, which seems sensible, given that I'm pretty much running there no matter what he says. He's also going to ice up archives. I'm running there no matter what ice is on, or what cards I actually have in hand, or not, as the case may be. Ugh. I should probably default this loss, just default this game, just straight off the bat here. I can go back and communicate to myself. That's exactly what I'd do. Instant default loss. I'm going to run R&D, see another ice wall, and I'm going to use the SMC to go and fetch my corroder. That's the only barrier breaker I'm packing, a one-off corroder. I've got obviously the test runs and the same old things to return it back to hand if required. Return it back to the deck, the table, sorry. So I'm going to go and play that and then pay with the bad pub to break. Or I don't know whether I use the bad pub to SMC or not, but either way. It's just going to cost me effectively 2 credits to get through with the SMC. And obviously the 2 credits for actually paying for corroder in itself. I'm going to access with indexing. And let's have a look and see what we've got. It looks like a geothermal fracking there on top. Yep. So we'll have that. It's got a power shutdown, which I presumably move near the bottom. It's also got the scorch, which I'm definitely moving near the bottom. I don't want to run the risk of double scorched here at any stage. So I'll run. And he uses Jackson Howard. Again, another error there. Not an illegal one, but a stupid one. I should have realised that was Jackson Howard right at first. Before using the indexing, so that was a bit of a waste. Never mind. You're going to put the closed accounts back in, which is not what I want to see, because the chances of me clearing tags here is nil point. But again, you've got to check if an unres remote, you've got to check it. I still get to access one of the cards, and don't see anything. No luck. Not that I should get any luck. In fact, I should get no luck whatsoever. I've got a scavenge in hand. An infiltration, a torch, and a dinosaurus, none of which is much good to me really. I'm going to draw. I think seeing a test run there, which is good. And pass the turn back. Oh, sorry, run HQ. It's only on 2 credits, so it's as good a time as any to do so. He's got a Res of Grim, which obviously I have no counter for. Sorry, so he's obviously not sat on 2 credits, obviously sat on a fair old amount, I just didn't see it properly. He's going to trash the corroder, give me another bad pub, which is probably an error. Well, I guess you kind of want to trash the corroder with 2 ice walls on the board, but it does mean I can still get through into HQ. I run, see the power shutdown, pass the turn back over to him. So he can just here power shutdown for 1 and get rid of my code gate breaker as well, which is exactly what he's going to do. So I'll get rid of that. Power shutdown did tough work for me. It did hard work all day, really. So he's just drawn up into another government contracts there. And he has drawn up aggressively without a lot of money. I'm going to test run a corroder, which I had in hand. And I'm going to indexing. So I've used the same old thing to index. The same old thing that probably shouldn't be there. Not seeing anything, which is exactly what I deserve. But I have seen another power shutdown and a sea source there. Obviously the sea source is completely irrelevant, so that's going to go on top. And I think another ice wall there as well, so you know, that's good. So definitely the sea source going on top there, with my lovely pyramid of tags. Not a lot of point running there again. That corroder is going to go back on top of the stack at the end of the turn. I think I'm just going to draw a card there. That does go back on. At least I remember that. He's going to do his mandatory draw. Still has that successful demonstration in hand, and that is part of the problem with the card. It's great economy, but there comes a point where runs aren't unsuccessful. He's going to install another piece of ice there onto R&D. I know there's not much. Again, I know there's no agendas there, so I'm not concerned about running through an R&D particularly at this stage. Now I kind of want to hammer his hand. And the Grim onto Enigma is doing very good work. So I kind of hear at a bit of a standstill. It's 4 points to 2. I'm drawing up, looking for some or any way of getting in here and applying the pressure. But you know, there's no R&D. No emphasis on R&D. I know he's not going to be drawing any agendas up in hand, so this is kind of the point where I just need to build, get the rig established, and try and endeavour to prepare for a few turns down the road. He's not going to be scoring out here in a hurry, unless he's got one in hand, which I don't think he does, although seeing back now I think he does have that 3-pointer still. And I've got to discard a card. I'm going to discard the torch. So he's going to take his government contracts money. And having a think here about what he's going to do with his last click. Not quite sure what he's considering, whether he's considering going for the remote. Sat on 6 or 7 credits there by the looks of it, so doing alright. Okay, he must have passed the turn over. I'm going to sneak door. He has ice on 8 archives, which I do point out to him, which he's not going to res, so I'm going to run, see the successful demonstration. And I'm going to go again, 3rd click. I'm just trying to make sure that he doesn't have, I see an ice wall, make sure he doesn't have an agenda in hand really more than anything else. And I'm going to go again. And I do see that 3-pointer, so taking me up to 5, so taking me to match point effectively, and pass turnover. I know he's got nothing in R&D yet, so I've got the time. He's going to draw. So, you know, a little bit fortunate perhaps there in my accesses. He only had the 1 agenda in hand, but I did have 3 attempts at it. Probably, you know, law of averages. I had a good chance of scoring it. But first click, I'm going to use sneak door again. At this point he reses Hadrian's Wall, which is you know, not a nice. I'm going to be getting through in a hurry, and that pretty much negates my sneak door in its entirety. I may have a corroder out, but I'm certainly not going to pay to get through a Hadrian's Wall. So second click, I will run R&D and see an Enigma. And I'm not sure if I counted right there. I think he may still have 1 card that I've already seen. And I'm just going to take 2 credits. And they're dropping the voting cards on our laps there. for a later occasion. I voted Jinteki, for those of you who are curious, and Jinteki did win overall over the course of the tournament. So, yeah, this would seem a very good time for him to go for the successful demonstration. I'm surprised he hasn't played it yet. I guess he kind of doesn't need to with government contracts. He's going to power shutdown and get rid of my Corroder for 2. I'm going to draw. Those Corroders, they are tough to keep on the board. And there's no way I'm going to go through and check in archives, that's for sure. And I'm going to sure gamble. Pass the turn back over to him, so I'm kind of starting from scratch here again. Although I'm on 5 points, I've got not much of a rig to speak of. I've only got a sneak door that's useless. And although it did again get me the 3 points here, again as I said before, that that sneak door beta splash more than proved its salt. I'm going to draw, see a Dinosaurus, which did not prove its worth over the course of the day. I'm going to draw again, see a Sharpshooter. I haven't seen an Archer yet, so that's not a big deal. That one remaining card on R&D on the remote could be an Archer, so something to be aware of. I see another Sharpshooter, which I'm going to play one of, and then I'm going to pass the turn over, discard a Deus Ex, and a Dinosaurus. And he is going to hedge fund. Plenty of cash. Having a quick look to see what I've got in my heap. And I'm not sure what I'm looking for, but I am struggling here for breakers. They are definitely leaving the board as quick as they hit it. He's going to triple ice up that remote server. So maybe signalling that he's looking to score a 3-pointer in the not too distant, which would take him to game. I just need to see one more as well, and R&D is vulnerable. It's only the Enigma and Ice Wall on R&D there, but I don't have either breaker. He's double icing up 8 archives, which is probably not necessary. You know, again, if I'm not going to get through Hadrian's with a sneak door that often, it's far more effective and efficient for me here to probably just get through HQ. Although that grim, not pleasant. But I do have the Sharpshooter, so I can get through it and keep recurring the Sharpshooter if required. I've got another one in hand as well, so I've got a couple of axes at HQ if I really want them. And I do just need the one more. I just need one more agenda to win, unless he has a few more hostile takeovers in the deck. I'm going to scavenge the Sneak Door Beta, which is doing me absolutely no good here. And I'm going to recur. I'm thinking of putting the Torch in play. With 2 bad pub, it's just not really worth it. So I'll put the Zoo down instead, which I get for free, means I don't have to spend any money. And it's a heck of a lot more useful than what I had. So I'm going to now run HQ and use the Sharpshooter to get through the Grim. I'm going to pay to get through the Enigma, and I'm going to access, see another Hadrian's Wall. Again, with the triple ice on that remote, I'm kind of thinking he must have an agenda in hand here. I'm going to play another Sharpshooter, and I'm going to run. So this is kind of an all-or-nothing gambit here. I want to try and get that agenda out of hand before he has the opportunity to install it into the remote. See a C-source. So there's not an agenda in hand, but I kind of felt like there was there at that point, and that triple ice signalling that he was ready to go. Possibly a little bit hasty on my part. He's going to take money off government contracts, which has done phenomenal work for him. I'm going to play a Diesel, see a Stim Hack, a Test Run, SMC, so lots of tutoring, which is perfect. The Test Run obviously particularly useful here at this stage. Means I can get my Corroder back, or a Sharpshooter, whatever it may be. Whether it stays on the board or not remains to be seen. I'm going to take 4 and discard some cards. I'm going to get rid of that Dinosaurus for sure. Oh, that's just the one I've got to get rid of. He's going to Scorch Earth me. And here I have to make the decision as to whether I'm going to get rid of the plastic counters or discard from hand. I get rid of the plastic counters because my hand is blooming good at this stage, and I've got exactly what I need. I've got an indexing, I've got a stim hack, I've got a SMC and a test run, and that's a blooming good hand, exactly what I want. He's going to double ice up our R&D, but I am now plasticless. He's going to install another remote as well, maybe a Jackson Howard, which is a problem if I want to use that indexing for sure. I'm going to run it first click and have a look-see. It is Jackson Howard, so he's going to trigger it rather than me trashing it. With 2 bad pub on the table, that's not exactly the worst thing in the world. Still hoping that close the counts doesn't come back into play, to be truthful, because that really would be death on a stick. He's going to put in a power shutdown back into the deck. Cursed power shutdowns. Haven't seen that enough all day. I think I got power shut down about 4 or 5 times in my first round of Swiss, and getting the same sort of treatment here. But again, just to reiterate, no less than I deserved for my egregious illegal play. I still can't believe I did that. So that's first click, trashing the Jackson. And now R&D is vulnerable. Incredibly vulnerable. I'm going to draw. Getting ready to blow all my cards in one foul swoop. And I'm going to test run. Paying 3. Fetching a Corroder. Almost certainly. There she blows. And last click, I'm going to play SMC, pass the turn. And that's really more than anything just to kind of protect my my zoo. I was kind of quite happy there to be able to test run the Corroder more than anything, because it means it doesn't stay. He's going to install, I think, what looks like a geothermal fracking there and double it on a single advance. So I know it's not a 3-pointer, or if it is a 3-pointer, that he can't score it, or can't win the game if he scores it. The single advancement here, I think, is the Corp's key mistake at this match. If he had double advanced that, I would have to have done something, but I can afford for him to score a 2-pointer here. I cannot afford for him to score a 3-pointer, and the single advancement makes me think, unless he's got some kind of trick up his sleeve, which I don't think he does, having seen the majority of his hand, makes me firmly believe there that that is an Atlas, or it's something of that nature. And if it is an Atlas, obviously that's a problem, because he can go and fetch the hostile takeover. But either way, I've got a turn's time. I have got a turn here to be able to build and to be able to go and index, which is my plan, and see 5 agendas. So I'm going to play a Corroder. And my plan here is to index or to stim hack, or do something of that nature and take another 2 credits there and pass the turn over. He is going to triple advance and score the geothermal fracking, so again I knew it couldn't be a 3-pointer. It not being an Atlas is also a bit of a boon. But it does mean now that he's on match point as well. And so this is the turn that something has to happen either way. So here it goes. We're going to stim hack R&D. I'm almost certain that there is an archer. I'm almost positive that that's an archer. I think he confirms to me later on, at the end of this game, that it was an archer. He doesn't res it, so at which point I will use my stim hack credits and SMC to go and fetch a femme fatale. I have a horrible moment here where I think, I haven't discarded that femme fatale, have I, at any point in the game? And I hadn't, so it's fine. But I did have a horrible, dawning moment there. I thought, oh crumbs, if that femme fatale's in the heap, I'm stuffed. But thankfully not. There she is, femme. So I install the femme. Obviously going to bypass that outermost piece of ice. And the plan here is now to access and then go in an index. If I don't get any joy, so I'll pay to get through the ice wall, having used my bad pub to use the SMC access, and see the game-winning agenda, the Project Atlas. So a little bit unlucky there, but again, the next plan was certainly to index and go in and try and access another way. But I think I had the hostile takeover in hand, so you know, that was going to be the game for him. And he sort of closed the counts the next turn as well. So that would have turned. That was the turn where it had to happen for me, or it wasn't going to happen at all. But once more, I apologise not just to Gary, but also to my audience for the egregious illegal plays that happened in this game. Hopefully we won't spot any more during the process of this tournament, and people, won't hate my living guts. But I take the win, and that's now meaning that I've won all 3 of my runner games. At least 2 of them were honest, and we move now on to Game 2 of this 3rd round of Swiss.